Right, and I actually tried consciously to, what's the opposite of escalate, but
calm it.
I tried to calm it. And it's hard to do in every situation, and I sure fail at that too, but in this situation it was the most obvious it could have been. And it's a little harder to say that I learned that from a shark, but that was another shark in my life. Another one is the good you do will come back to you. So that shark didn't eat me. I now protect the ocean. I've worked with Peter Benchley before he died to protect sharks from shark finning, and I still surf. I do believe that positive energy I put out there does come back to me. Michael Pritchard, he's an inspirational speaker and comedian who's a good friend of mine, and he's helped me sort of pull some of these lessons from my experience. Conflict is a part of life. It's just, we have 10 lessons that we teach, and these are a few of them. And they're simple messages that are universal, and they apply to everyone. We focus on middle school kids, but the same things work with parents and young preschool kids.
Well, what inspired you for Future Leaders of Peace? So what charged your heart to do that?
It was looking for something that made me feel like I was accomplishing something in the world. And I think when you realize how close you are to death at every minute, and not in a morbid way, but in a positive way, you want to use this time that you have here positively. And in my case, I was sitting with a friend's father, and he's retired. He's a young retiree. We were sitting talking about our life goals, and he's saying, what do I want to do with the second part of my life? And I'm saying, what do I want to do with the first part of mine? And we basically were brainstorming, and we realized that what we could do is help people, and he could help me help other people, and he's been a mentor to me in encouraging me to get out there and work with kids. And there's so much involved other than the actual interaction with kids. But I just wanted to do something that I felt positive and energized about, and that's taking what was a message with sharks, protecting sharks, and transforming it into protecting people.
Well, I'm very inspired by the fact that, at 22 years old, by this time, you not only started an organization, but made it self-sufficient to actually have staff, volunteers, be funded, and you draw a salary. I mean, that's amazing.
Finally, yeah, it's been that challenge. It's that whole never give up. And I started it at 22. I've just turned 26, and in the last 4 years, it's grown. I've had invitations, and I've actually gone and spoken in South Africa and Hawaii. And I'm trying to focus my energy more on the Bay Area, and we're working to create a curriculum that we can distribute through the U.S. But it's something that I feel good about, and I think that gives me a lot of energy in doing it. Yeah. And inviting people to help. I think that's the big thing. We're always looking for people to help.
And if people want to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
We have a website, futureleadersforpeace.org, and our email address is info@flfp.org. And that's the easiest way. And we're always looking for people to help in the way that they're most fit. I mean, we like to use people's strengths. People enjoy helping when they can use their strengths. So if it's working with kids and that's what you're good at, that's where we put you. We need help in the office. We need help with, public awareness. So we're always looking for help. We're located near UC Berkeley. We rely mostly on UC Berkeley students. I graduated from Berkeley 4 years ago and decided that it was another great opportunity to get these great young people involved.
Wonderful, thank you. And if you'd like to learn more about Messages of Hope, please visit jilllublin.com/Messages of Hope. Now, I'm interested to hear about some of these kids that you've touched. Tell us a story about one of the kids.
It was fascinating. I was just recounting this story yesterday. We work in a lot of very challenging environments. We work largely with after-school programs where the kids, unfortunately, their parents, for whatever reason, can't pick them up. I mean, ideally, we'd like to see stronger family environments. This one boy we were working with recently was actually quite threatening to the teachers. And
why was he threatening?
He didn't like being told what to do. So whether it was being quiet, whether it was to focus on his assignment. And this is sort of as we're coming in and setting up, we realized that I noticed, and he was new to our program, I noticed that he really was being disrespectful, but he was he had the physical ability to actually intimidate the teachers as well. But what we did was, one thing that I learned from Michael Pritchard, as I said, a good friend of mine, is ICE. It's intervene, confront, and enlighten. And sometimes when a kid doesn't have that guidance at home, that's where we come in. And he may not have realized that he needed to treat people positively, or he was looking for that guidance, or he almost wanted to be stopped from the behavior he was doing. I mean, it was just so blatant.
But he was just pushing every limit, right?
He was pushing everyone,
Yeah.
and no one would step up because it was actually so intimidating because of his size. And what one of our team members did was actually went up to him and did confront him calmly, and drew him into the discussion. And through our discussion that day happened to actually be about releasing your emotional baggage. So what we did was we carried a chair across the schoolyard, and it was a stack of chairs. And as you got to the end of the yard, you'd put the chair down and you'd say to our team member quietly, confidentially, something that had been on your mind, that had really been bothering you. And it came out that he was saying these things that had to do with his mother leaving and with abuse from his father. And it was very enlightening for us to see that the way he was interacting with the rest of the people came from his lack of understanding how to lead a positive relationship. And that's what we were there for, was to teach him those things. And by actively drawing him into the program, saw a huge change, and he's one of the biggest participants we have now.
How were you able to impact him? What kind of behavioral changes did you see?
It was just showing inclusiveness.
Is he still intimidating?
He's not in our program, that's for sure. I'm sure that he's still, he's relatively new to the program, so I'm sure he still has things that he's working through. I mean, it wasn't magic overnight, but he's become much more of a positive leader in the program. I mean, basically, we just explained to him, how you do interact. And I think a large part, as I was saying earlier, you get this emotional baggage off your chest, and when you do that to someone, who's a neutral party, who's not going to judge you and affect your grades, etc., it really releases a lot of strain, and I think that our program did that for him.
Did you have some, deep emotional baggage? I just have to ask, because here you are working with these kids. Is it just all from the shark piece, or I'm looking for that inspiration because it's amazing.
I think it's almost the opposite. I have a very close family. My parents are very loving, have taken good care of us. The one thing my brothers will laugh if they hear this is that my mom always taught us that brothers love each other and that brothers are best friends. And it's this funny thing that, it almost sounds corny, but we still say it to each other today. We get in a fight and we say that to each other. My brother just came by my office before I came over here just to visit, because we live just across town from each other and never see each other.
Yeah.
And I think I began to realize that the kids that were having trouble in my class frequently didn't have that family support growing up. And even some of my good friends will admit that they didn't have some of that support. And as I saw that, so many of the things are just those things I learned from my mom, just being kind to other people, and I wish other kids had that opportunity. And unfortunately, not every kid does.
So then this is what really allows you to give back.
It is, and as I was saying, you need that support in an economy like today too. Families have to work just to keep, paying those car payments, to pay for their apartment or pay for their home, pay for the kids to go to a school. Sometimes it's even to pay for those kids to go to a private school. And they're just barely making those payments, and so they were working later, they're working longer. That means the kids come home and they don't have support, they don't have any guidance. They might be getting their homework done, but who knows what else sort of trouble they're able to find with that lack of guidance. So today is an especially tough time.
Yes. Well, what's your vision for your organization?
Well, we're growing very strong locally right now in the Bay Area, developing a really strong curriculum. We have a semester's worth of curriculum complete. It's something that we'd like to even begin to distribute then throughout the rest of the country. Now, as we grow, I mean, the hardest part, you know, in our organization, of course, is to provide a team that reaches throughout the whole country, and there's funding issues and things involved in that. But as we're finding that we're so successful working with kids, and we have tons of positive feedback on our website, futureleadersforpeace.org, we're finding that we're creating this model, a really strong model with strong core pillars that we can then distribute to other places. And it's a universal message, so it works everywhere. I mean, I spoke to a clothing factory in South Africa and had just the same response I had with a group of kindergarten kids in Healdsburg. I mean, it's universal, and we've worked with high schools in Richmond and Oakland, and schools in Marin.
I hear you say it's universal. It's a universal message.
Oh, just the positive, inspirational. It's basically about support and love and respect. The way I'm saying it now is much more touchy-feely and vague than it would be if you were part of the program. I mean, we have specific activities. You know, and that's a big part of the strength of the program, is we have specific activities, specific topics for discussion, specific actions that we assign. So it's a big assembly, primarily followed by weekly club meetings, either at lunch or after school.
Well, it sounds very well structured. How many people are you reaching, typically?
We've worked with, I'd say about 12 or 13,000 kids since we started. And I should probably count that more often. We're in, these are tough numbers. I think it was about 60 schools last year, and I'm not sure what the count is this year.
That's amazing, though. I mean, that's a lot to have accomplished. And really, what I think is a very short time. 4 years is not a lot.
No,
so,
yeah,
it's amazing. I mean, congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you.
And what message of hope would you like to leave us with?
I think it's that, you know, it's the key. The two big key ones are just the love and respect. You know, treat others as you want to be treated. That simple rule that we don't remember, and never give up.
Never give up. I love that. And that is the key message of hope. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome, and thank you for tuning in tonight. I hope that we've inspired you with your story of hope, and that you keep hope in your life. Thanks for watching.